All right, buddy. Papa Kenny goes to grandkids. Stop over to see progress on the little grocery getter. I'm building my goat cart. As you can see, it's got a shopping cart for a body. Honda 9-horse with a torque converter. And I got to get this thing done. They keep, every time they come over, they want, the goat cart. I got to get it done before the end of the summer. Anyhow, I had no intentions of doing this video, but I was watching YouTube the other night and I got clickbaited into watching a video. LS swap for under 200 bucks. So obviously, me doing an LS swap, I wanted to see how it can be done for under 200 bucks. And after watching the video, can it be done? Absolutely. His situation was, he had a early 2000, I don't know, 2001 Chevy 1500, two-wheel drive, 5.3 automatic. It was his daily drive for I don't know, 3 years. Well maintained, 186,000 miles on it. But the chassis was rotted, and I guess it folded in half and it was no longer roadworthy. So he decided to take that motor out and put it in his wife's 85 Monte Carlo, the G-body, which already had a V8 itself. What is that, the 305, I guess? So basically, he had the donor vehicle, both donor vehicles, engine, harness, everything you need to do a swap. So it really didn't cost him anything other than mounts, headers, and some probably hardware. So yes, he did it for under 200. In my case, now I jotted down a bunch of numbers over here, so it's all going to be conservative, and give you an idea what I spent on my LS swap on this S10. Okay, so I bought this truck off of Marketplace when I bought it a couple of years ago. It's a 2003 Chevy S10. It came with a 2.2 four-cylinder automatic transmission, and at the time had 15-inch tires and wheels, steel wheels. And the ad said painted rattle can gray, hence that's where she got her name, Rattle Can. Also came with a factory ZQ8 suspension. The ZQ8 suspension includes heavy-duty sway bar in the front, sway bar on the rear end, yes, factory sway bar on the rear end, heavy-duty springs, Bilstein shocks, front and rear, the good ones, lowered 2 inches from the factory, front and rear, and quick ratio steering box. I think that's it. Basically, the Chevy Extreme package, that's what the ZQ8 suspension is. All right, so I paid 900 bucks for the truck. Obviously, I didn't have an engine. I went to pick and pull. I pulled this engine out of a 2005 Cadillac Escalade. It was hitting the rear. I spun it over, at least make sure that it spun. And like I said, this was a couple of years ago. So, complete engine, out the gate, fully dressed, starter, alternator, harness, computer, all that stuff. Water pump, everything. Power steering pump was $450. I think it's probably double that now. So $900 for the truck, $450 for an engine. We're at $1,350. All right. Took the engine to work, tore it all down. Mind you, I've never rebuilt. I've been around vehicles all my life, but I've never done an engine rebuild completely by myself before. So actually, before I get into that, but let's say I did a partial rebuild on this engine. I don't want to get hit with the comments down below. That's not a rebuild. So here's what my rebuild consists of on this engine. I tore it down, took everything off it, tore it down to the beer block, pistons out, and everything else. Did not send anything out to the machine shops. I did have a friend of mine, we checked bearing clearances, even though they were pretty good. Had it all apart, so I decided to do all new bearings. New rod bearings, new main bearings, new cam bearings. Actually, I did not install the cam bearings. I didn't have the tools, so I paid someone to install them. I didn't see buying a tool, a couple $100 and never gonna probably use it again. So I did pay someone a couple $100 to install the bearings. We won't include that. All right, new bearings, new oil pump, new timing chain, new timing gear, pickup tube, and O-ring, and gaskets. This is being conservative, folks. $300. And now we're at $1,650. All right, now comes the fun part. Getting this engine to fit into the small engine compartment. After doing a lot of research, a lot of videos, I decided to go with Dirty Dingo LS adjustable motor mounts that fit this truck. and what was very important for me from the beginning is that I wanted the transmission to land in the original mount using the original transmission cross member, because I did not want to have to modify my dry shaft, which made it a little bit harder on clearance on both ends and getting the right pinion angle off the rear end, and motor angle for that part. All right, so being a truck engine, in the big truck oil pan, I had to do the notch on the cross member. I notched it, boxed it all in. While I was at it, I did the frame rail on the passenger side, cut it and boxed it to accept the AC compressor. I don't have AC on here, but I plan on doing it down the road somewhere. All right, dirty dingo mounts. All right, I did not have a radiator. 2.2 radiator was not going to fit, so I had to go to Pick and Pull and get a radiator. As you can see, it's recessed into my radiator support. The original radiator that came with this engine had dual fans, but that was not going to fit on this radiator, or there wasn't enough clearance, so I went with 99 to 2003 Dodge Stratus dual electric fans. They fit perfect on the 4.3 V6 radiator. You're just going to make your own mounting points. All right, so radiator, fans. All right, next up, got the end. Now I put this engine in and out half a dozen times. Right off the bat, brake booster interference with the coil pack on the driver's side. I tried moving the coil packs, new coil wires up, down, just wasn't going to happen. I found out 2003 Chevy Malibu brake booster fits it. The only modification I had to do was cut the rod off that goes from the brake booster to the brake pedal on the original booster, cut the one off the Malibu, put the original ones on the Malibu booster. Mounts up perfect. I got great brakes, no vacuum issues. There goes my cheat sheet. Ran into the same problem on the passenger side with the evap box. Now I could have cut that, plastic welded it, glued it, whatever, fiberglass, but I wanted a cleaner look, so I chose to go with the Holley flat cover. It just it's not so curved. It gives you a little bit more clearance in the back. Other issues. Exhaust manifolds. Now, I was going to go with headers, but all the videos I watched, it was a hit and miss. Some fit, some didn't, depending where you got them. I didn't want the headache or take the big chance. I went with the tried and true Hooker Black Hot Block Hugger cast iron manifolds. Next best thing to shorty headers, the 2.5-inch outlets. Gives you plenty of clearance for your exhaust. The only other problem I had was interference with the steering rod. So Holley has a steering rod. I bought the Holley steering rod. And I found out later, if I went to an older Jeep Wagoneer, same steering rod, cut a little bit shorter, welded up, it would have fit just fine. So as far as fitment, brake booster, evap cover, Holley steering shaft, mount, and manifolds. All right. Where am I? 500 for fitment, and then another 400 for the exhaust manifolds. That puts us at $25.50. All right, I thought I was going to be able to use the 4L60 that came with this truck, but unfortunately, the input shaft or output shaft is smaller on these 2.2s than they are on the V6 or the V8s. So I couldn't use the transmission. The converter won't bolt up to the flex plate. Now, I had to go to Pick and Pull, get a transmission. I'm not going to count what I paid for it because I sold the original transmission that was in here. I did, however, send it out to have it rebuilt. And shout out to Midland Mars. They're out here in West Warwick, Rhode Island. Great guys over there. I told them what I was doing, what I was building, what engine, and what I planned to do with the truck. And they specifically built me a 4L60E. I probably should have went with the 4L80E, but I didn't. I went with what I could get. It cost me $1,800 for the transmission to be built. Now we're at $43.50. All right, now here comes all the extras. All right, harness. Tons of videos out there, tons of information how to modify your harness to make these LS engines run. However, I didn't want a headache of missing a ground or a 5-volt reference. I took the extra step and ordered a harness from BP Automotive, told them what year truck I had, what engine I had, and what engine I was putting in it. And they specifically built the harness, plug and play. All my gauges work, all the plugs on the harness fit the engine. As a matter of fact, I ordered the wrong harness. I ordered it for a drive-by cable, and this truck originally had drive-by wire, so I had to go back to pick and pull, get another intake manifold, and another computer. I'm not even figuring that in. That was my mistake. All right, that cost me $850. Now we're at $5,200. Cam. While I was out, decided to upgrade the cam. Brian Tooley Racing Truck Norris cam. Comes with valve springs and valve seals. That was $400. Now we're at $5,600. Now, just a heads up, if you decide to go with a bigger cam than a stock cam, and you plan on tuning it yourself, it makes it a little bit more difficult, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. Also, I left this out. Could not get any clearance for a dipstick tube. I got that from a low car. Now, if you're going to order one of them, make sure you get the right length. Thank God for the transmission guys figured that out for me. I had ordered the wrong one. It was too long. So make sure you get the right length. Flexible dipstick if you're ordering one for a 4L60E. All right, so like I said, I put the camshaft in it. We're up to $5,600. All right, rear end. I upgraded the rear end. The usual 8.8 upgrade. 373 gears, limited slip. Technically, the 8.8 will fit right into these S10s. You have to bend your leaf springs out a little bit, get longer U-bolts, and one side of the axle will stick out more than the other side. I did not want that look. I decided to narrow my own axle, get another short shaft, and put it in the short side. I also converted it from drum brakes to disc brakes. I drilled out my own axles and the disc brake rotors. I drilled out myself right here in my so-called garage on my drill press. They fit perfect. As you can see, I got the original stock rims and tires, the 16-inch ones that came with it. Also had to get the universal joint that went from the Chevy to the 8.8 and the adapter for the brake line. I got all that stuff written down. Anybody's got any questions, you need to know them numbers. So all in, the way this truck's sitting and running, I'm into it for $6,200. Tuning. I live up here in Rhode Island. Finding a tuner up here is near instinct. So I've been working with Brandon from Strong Speedworks. I found him on YouTube. Great guy. He's got a lot of great videos out there. I contacted him, told him what I had. We agreed on the price, and he didn't even care what kind of tune this had in it. He gives you his own startup tune. As a matter of fact, let me start it up for you and let you hear what it sounds like. It's not a cold start. I just got back from doing some data logging. Here's what that Chuck Norris cam sounds like. Here's what that's what she sounds like. Like I said, we're in the process of tuning it. I went out and I did a couple data logs today. And as a matter of fact, I did a data log, sent it to Brandon. He sent me another file back, and he was tuning it in speed density. And when they do that, they fail the mass airflow sensor, and the check engine light came on. So when I put the other tune in, I wasn't sure if I put the wrong tune in or not because the check engine light wasn't on. Anyways, he's tuning in mass now. I just got done logging it, and just got done sending to him, and I gotta give the guy a lot of credit. Like I said, I found him on YouTube, communicates well. I called him this morning, asked him a question about that tune. He answered it right away, and he's filling all the boxes for me. So I highly recommend him. If you're looking for a remote tuner, that's Brandon, Strong Speedworks. I believe he's out of Oklahoma. All right, so actually let me show you. We're using HP tuners to tune it. I bought that. That was another $400. I didn't add that in here. I'll give you an idea what the data log looks like. All right, connect to the vehicle. So he gives you all this channel list, and you download them on HV Tuners VCM suite, right? Just press quad. And there's a bunch of other stuff, all this stuff, he monitors all that, and that's how he tunes your truck for you. Let me close out of here. So yeah, go ahead and use them. Tom Kenny sent you. Like I said, I had no idea I was going to do this video, but anyhow, I appreciate you all watching. If you have any questions or comments, you know what to do, leave them down below. If you know someone that's doing one of these LS swaps, on an S10 like this, I'd love to know what it costs them, or any LS swap, what it costs them. Leave a comment down below. Like I said, share the video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Papa Kenny's Workshop. We got a lot of projects that we got done. Like I said, and a video out soon on this little grocery getter for the grandkids. I appreciate you all watching. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.